So things have had to take a bit of a pause on the AE2 project. The shed flooded. We had some pretty big rain the other week and the shed flooded, so everything's fucking stacked everywhere. But the other news is of work on my daily. So this is my daily driver. It's an AE93 Seca, so SX Seca 4AG SMALLPORT in it. I've had it for, I don't know, about almost a year, coming up to that, and it's been fun. But when I first bought it, I thought I was chasing oil leaks. Obviously had oil leaks out of the distributor and front of the motor, so I fixed all that, but it still kept going through oil, and that's when I realised that it's burning a bunch of oil. From what I can tell, I think it's piston rings, so it's looking like we're going to start rebuilding this one if I want to keep using this as a daily. And I do, because I have put a bit of effort into it. So I recently just got these seats for it, AE93 or AE92 11 JDM seats. Just got a new door card for it. But yeah, it's pretty tidy. I've done a few little things, so just a pod filter intake into the corner there, and then there's a catch can, because at first I thought it was burning a bunch of oil through crankcase pressure, but the catch can barely catches anything. I think it's all coming up through the rings. But yeah, so now the dilemma is, do I want to pull this one out and rebuild this, or I can rebuild this other handy one I've acquired and then drop this one in. So this one is also SMALLPORT, but this one has turbo internals in it, and it's been previously modified. So I just bought a parts car the other day, which is another Seca, but it had previously been turboed. So this thing's got GZE pistons in it, and it's got, I don't know, tapped sump and oil pressure lines and all that sort of stuff to support a turbo. It wasn't running when I bought the car, so I actually have no idea about the condition of this motor. So it's probably going to be the next project before I get into this one. I'm going to tear this one down and have a better look at it and just get a better understanding of it. So I've never actually torn an engine down before, so I feel like it's a good idea to learn on something that's just for the beta daily rather than the 20 valve that I want to be perfect. So I thought about it, like the car was turboed, so it did come with the turbo manifold and ECU and everything like that, but half of the stuff's missing. Like, there's no intercooler stuff, there's no exhaust, so it'd be a big job to just go and turbo that car. Maybe that's something for the future, a project when the AE2 is done, but for now, I think we're just gonna try and keep the 93 alive for as long as I can. I don't really want to buy a new daily. I mean, I am kind of addicted to buying cars at the moment, but I'd rather put the money into the AE82. So this video will probably be tearing down the turbo SMALLPORT and bits of that, and seeing where we go. But yeah, cheers. So everything's apart, stripped down the block, crank, pistons, everything's all parted out, oil squirters are out. So this box is pretty much ready to go to a machine shop. The block and everything actually looks really good, and like the rings and the bearings on the mains and the big ends look almost perfect. Could probably get away with reusing them, but everything's apart, so might as well get new stuff. So yep, that's just waiting to go to the machine shop. I'll take the head as well, and just get everything fresh, 100% fresh, like a whole new motor going in the car. Managed to get some standard pistons off the guy that sold me the car, so yep, everything should be good to go. And I'll probably do another video of putting it all back together, which is going to be the hard part. So thanks for watching. Yep, hopefully next time, my face is bloody dirty. Yep, hopefully next time that motor's getting put back together, and then eventually, I don't know if I'll film it, but swapping it into the Seca and getting the Seca running good, and perfect for daily duties and stop blowing smoke all down the road. But yep, thanks for watching. Hopefully have something more for you to watch pretty soon. Cheers. So I didn't film any of this because it was my first time doing it. There was a lot of learning, a lot of going back and forth and reading, so filming it would have been a hassle, but the new bottom end has been assembled. So I sent the block away to a machine shop locally and had them look at it. It's been bored out to oversize, so it's gone to 81.5mm bores, brand new oversized pistons, bearings, rings, all the good stuff. So pistons and crank are all back in, all been assembled, all torqued down. New oil pump has been put on. Next steps, I also painted the block, new Welch plugs on it, so it looks all nice and fancy. But yep, so that's most of the bottom end together. It's a bit of a hassle because this is a spare motor and I'm putting it in that car, and that car's still got its engine in it. Some things I can't do until the motor is pulled out of that car, so I'm going to use the sump out of that car, and some of the bolts, like pickup bolts, because when I bought this engine, a lot of it was already disassembled, so a lot of it is just kind of in pieces. So like I've got an oil pickup, I don't have the bolts for it. I've got the tray, I've got the sump off that motor as well, but the sump off that motor used to be turboed, and so the sump has fittings and stuff drilled into it that I don't need, so I'm going to use the sump off my other car. So I need to pull the other car and then I can do things. I'll probably continue on and put the head on tomorrow. The head has also been all fully reconditioned, valve, lash set and all that by the machine shop. So that'll go on tomorrow, get that all done, and then it'll basically just sit until the motor comes out of that car, which will probably also get started on tomorrow. And yeah, it's a bit daunting having all this money into something and never doing it before and trying not to fuck it up, but I think I'm doing all right with the assembly. I've got my dad helping me and he knows a fair bit about it. I'm more worried about fucking up the run-in, but we'll see how it goes. I'll hopefully remember to update you as things progress. Cheers. So day 2 of the Seca engine swap. Basically long block together, minus the sump and baffle and pickup, because that's all coming off the motor that's in the car at the moment. So everything's together, head's torqued down, looking all lovely and fresh. Covers are just there to stop dust getting in at the moment. Probably going to paint these covers, but just haven't got around to that yet. But yeah, so that's all waiting for this one to come out so we can take all the bolt-ons off of it. Fair bit of it's out, so the exhaust's all out, alternator's off, a lot of the wiring's unplugged. I'm trying to take this out without disconnecting the AC lines because the AC works in this car, so I don't really want to have to go and get it regassed. So it's being a bit of a bitch because we're trying to do it all while leaving that compressor and the lines connected. So currently battling with the power steering pump, but when that's out and the last wires are gone, this whole thing should just drop out the bottom pretty easy. This fucking distributor, I rebuilt this less than 10,000 Ks ago with new seals internally, and it's already leaking quite a bit, which is lovely to see. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'll have to put a rebuilt one in this eventually, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it again during this swap or pull it out afterwards and rebuild it. I've got a rebuild kit sitting here. I've got two of them, two rebuild kits. But I was planning on rebuilding the Dizzy in that car first because that one's leaking. But I drive this one more, so this one's probably more pressing. And I'm going to have to use the new cap and button that I bought for that car on this car because these ones are fucking shagged. But yeah, that's the end of day 2 of this process. Once again, haven't been filming anything as I do it because there's just so much back and forth and learning. And I can't be bothered setting up a camera, but at the end of tomorrow for day 3, I'll update you to see how we went. Hopefully this motor's all out and all the bolt-ons have been transplanted to the block and ready for that one to get put up into the car. So yeah, lots to do, but it's hopefully all going to be worth it in the end. Cheers. Side note from Seca engine swap. This beast is on daily duties again until the Seca is good to go, and it's probably a good thing I haven't gotten too stuck into this thing yet because it's all still there and it all runs great. I really do love this car. Feels like a pity to gut it, but I know it'll be great. But yeah, just a short side note. I don't know if I've ever shown this thing with the hot wires on it. I don't know how I feel about them. I might strip them and make them fully silver. I think that might look a bit better. But that's a one-day project. But anyway, back to the Seca. Day 3. I'm fucked. So the motor's mostly together. Got all the timing stuff on, water pump on, intake manifold. It's all on. Rear main's in. Generally everything's on. We still need to put the sump on, but that's tomorrow. When the sump's on, we'll put the flywheel and the clutch on and do all the timing cover and all that sort of crap. But then that's pretty much good to go back in the car. Car's looking like a bomb site. It's been a pain because we've been trying to do this while keeping the AC compressor attached so I don't have to get new gas. So that's just hanging there, but had to pull the power steering pump off and all that sort of shit. So it's been a fucking ordeal, but we're getting there. Hopefully this is back in here at the end of tomorrow. Probably won't be running, but hopefully it's all back and bolted in and then first start next week. But yeah, have a look at this engine mount. Not much left. Good thing I bought a new one. But yeah, that explains the vibrations at idle. Anyway, once again, not filming as I go because too much shit is happening. But yeah, I will do another update at the end of the next day. Cheers. End of day 4. New motor is back in the car. We got it done. Most of the wiring is plugged back in. We only need to do injectors and the alternator. But yeah, long day. It's New Year's Eve, so trying to get out of here pretty early so we can go and celebrate. But yeah, we're pretty much done. Everything's in. I've got a couple of photos of the motor with the clutch and everything on that I'll probably chuck in. But yeah, home stretch, probably a couple more hours next week. and we'll be ready for a first start. So yeah, almost done. It's been solid 4 days of back-to-back work to get to this point. So yeah, probably a good thing I wasn't filming along the way, because it would have been 3 hours worth of stuff when it all got edited down. But yep, so that's quick day 4 update. Have a weekend, have a few days break, and then get back here next week and just finish it all off. Yep, catch you for the first start. So we're all done. I would have liked to film the first start process, which was a lot of cranking and stuff like that, but as everything else, there's a lot of back and forth, and it took a bit longer than I would have hoped, so didn't film it. In short, the process I used, I left the plugs out, disconnected all the injectors, and just cranked it over on the starter motor until the oil pressure gauge in the car showed pressure. Once that was all good, knew it was going to be fine, chucked the plugs in, connected the injectors and cranked it, and it started up straight away. No real issues. Timing was a bit out, but timing light fixed that. It's all good now. I didn't do anything with the oil pump. I hear a lot of people talk about packing it with Vaseline or anything like that before you first start it. I didn't pull the oil pump apart. I didn't pack the gears. All I did was pour a bit of oil down the pickup while I was assembling it. So I had a little bit of oil in the gear. But yeah, it got oil pressure pretty quickly. Had to crank it over for probably about 30 to 40 seconds on and off. But once it had pressure, fired it up. No issues. Set the timing. Just let it get to temperature to get rid of all the airlocks in the coolant. And yeah, got it out and took it for a drive. Braking process is very subjective thing. A lot of people have different ways of doing it. I went probably with like a moderate to hard break-in. So first 20 minutes, just revved it between like 1.5 and 3,000. Just trying to load it up, just up and down. And then from that, I went for a bit of a drive to a town called Meadows in South Australia from where I am. So it's like a hills drive, so fair few windy roads and minimal traffic. So I just took it out there, just kind of third gear pulls kind of thing. So I would just kind of slow down to about 40 Ks, about 2,000 RPM, and then rev it out to about 4,500 for the next like 20 minutes, just kind of repeating that, and then turned around when I got to Meadows and headed back, and then towards the end of the drive, the same sort of thing, but I would go in second gear, rev it out to 5.5, change, rev it out to 5.5, so that's where my limit was, at 5,500 is where I stopped kind of going past. So that's kind of how I've broken it in. I've put 90 Ks, 90 to 100 Ks on the motor. No issues, no leaks, no smoke. It all ran really well. So tomorrow, well, this really kind of marks the end of what I'm doing on this car. Few little things left to do. So I'll drop all the running oil out. So the oil I used at the moment is just like a Penrite running oil. So I've used that. I've done my first 100-kilometer break-in. So if there's any metal in there, it's going to be in there now. So I'm going to drain it all out, and then just inspect it, cut my filter open, see if there's anything in there. I'm also going to get a little camera up inside the sump and just check that there's no silicone in the pickup, because we used a fair bit of silicone sealing up the sump. So I'll do all that, and then I'll just put some normal basic mineral oil in it and run that for another 500 Ks. And then when that's done, I'll probably do kind of a similar drive, just kind of try to rev it, try to like modulate the revs quite a bit for the next 500 Ks. And then once I've done that, I'll drop that oil out, run just a normal 1540 semi-synthetic, and that's going to be me saying it's done. So yeah, thanks for watching this if you've watched it. Kind of marks the end of me working on this car for a while, hopefully. I don't really want to do much more on it. Well, a few short things. I've got some brake lines and little bits to do, but as far as that is, I think I'm pretty much done with this car. It's just going to be a fun, enjoyable, daily, hills running car with hopefully no issues. And yeah, time to have some fun with it and not worry about burning a litre of oil every week. So I guess to kind of end this, I'll just start it up and you can hear it in all its glory. Nice and healthy. Time to rip it. Cheers.